When Patty was brought to the vet on that fateful day, I was distraught with fright and concern for her health.
Oh, don't
I
worry.
stayed with her during her final
At least
moments,
you will get a
with a
very
hand on her head
distinct negative
and a
feeling in
tear
a while,
my
I
eye.
believe.
When my mother was brought the paper that gave the doctor permission to send her on her way, I didn't want her to be the one to sign it. I raised Patty since she was a 6-week-old pup, and I wanted to take the strain for signing that one-way ticket. It was hard for me, but it was for the best. So I signed that paper with a crying Sonichu face saying, "We love you, Patty." After that, I gave her my final pets: hug, hand-to-paw hold, eye contact, ear rub, cheek-to-fur rub, and I sadly waved her for the final time, and I said, "Goodbye, Patty. I love you." As I stood outside, I heard Patty's last barks, saying, "I will always love you, Chris. Thank you." But we all must move on with our lives, with our beloved Lucky Mutt in our hearts and in our memories. So, Patty, may your old doghouse and surrounding flowers forever memorialize your blessed heart, your barks at the stars and strangers, and your loyal love that you have blessed upon me and my family and friends. Bark on and rest in peace, our beloved Lucky Patty.
What the?
What would you do for a PS3 and a chance to be on Robot Chicken?
In November, Adult Swim held another contest. This time,
Francis is
encouraging viewers
attacking
to
me.
submit
That's
a
not
video
good.
wherein they
I
would
was
say
prepared
what they
for
would
that. I
do
wasn't even
for a
watching for
PlayStation
that.
3. Christian's video featured the appearance of his own makeshift PS3, which was in fact a PS2 encased in a mix of Lego and pixel block pieces.
Hello, my name is Christian Weston Chandler from Ruckersville, Virginia. What would you do for a PS3? What I would do for a PS3? I tell you what I do. Well, if I had the money, I'd
Yeah,
spend the
I'm
money,
getting
like all the other
upward
people did
plans.
with their tents and all that good stuff. I'd throw away the cure for autism if I had it.
Which also means that it will just call everybody else into war, but that's not gonna help me much.
And, oh yeah, I would trade in my PS2 for another thing. Or, otherwise, I'd make one from wood if it was hard enough. But you know what I did? I did it.
Okay, we need to hold fucking water. Jesus fucking Christ, I was not expecting that.
I actually play Guitar Hero on this thing. Thunderhorn!
In the beginning of 2007, Christian started working on a DVD called Yup, I'm on TV, which would become a collection of all his TV appearances and his homemade videos, in addition to a slideshow of his pictures up to 2007. He planned to make and release it to only a small selection of people, including Mrs. Sanford, with whom he got in touch via email. You may be able to help me in a portion of it now. There will be a slideshow projected from my PlayStation Portable, featuring not only pics of me growing up, but the friends, teachers, and relatives I've known and remembered, either from heart, like yourself, as well as yearbook signatures. As for what had happened during PBCC, in a nutshell, about
take it
midsummer
easy. I shall
2003,
give myself a
I
nice
realized
beer
upon
after this is done, and
revelation
then we'll,
that I needed a girlfriend
hang
to make
afterwards.
into a sweetheart from the ground up. So, with the sign,
Germany,
which I've
help
later
me.
realized that it made me look slow-minded, the R word, I've started my enduring love quest. The Dean of Student Services, Mary Lee Walsh, came out and tore my sign up right in front of me and said, "You're not gonna get a girlfriend this way or anyway." That shattered my heart and murdered my soul. And it wasn't just her. The policemen imposters in brown, white, and red, aka the jerk-cops, blue and black are the true police soldiers, also seriously indented the impression that Virginia is for virgins, not lovers. He talked about his high hopes for a future with Megan
That was
and
poor.
assured his former
Bastards
teacher
are going to get
that she would
fucked,
receive a
aren't they?
copy of the DVD. 3 days before his birthday, he completed Sonichu issue 6. The first story, titled Episode 12.5,
Quench
is
yourself,
strikingly
you idiots.
distinct from all the episodes thus far, which stars his recently deceased dog, Patty. The story opens with a creative blend of photographic backgrounds and a hand-drawn Patty who wishes she could speak so she could thank Christian for all he has done for her. The next morning, Christian walks outside to feed her, only to discover his dog has transformed into an anthropomorphic dog-like creature who can talk. They spend some leisurely time together, and she tells Chris that she wishes to roam free outside her pen. Chris leads her indoors and shows her his room, which Patty calls crowded, and suggests that if he got a girlfriend, she would help him tidy up. Using a Nintendo DS, Chris reveals a portal which opens up to Quickville and declares the town Patty's new roaming grounds, where she can finally explore with freedom. The final
So
page
why
of the
aren't
story
I
is a simple
guaranteed
full-page
in
tribute
this
to
war?
Patty Chandler. The next episode resumes where the last comic left off. As Chris and the gang debate the best way to rescue Crystal, they come to the conclusion that they need to acquire the 7 Sonichu balls to save her. They discover an evil green Sonichu, who then envelops Chris in a dark dimension in which he announces himself as the Sonichu form of Natesurk, who then reveals his true form and declares that he is, in fact, Reldnag Natsu Natesurk. As the name implies,
Okay.
he is completely the opposite of Christian, with his semi-bare chest symbolizing his raging homosexuality, which horrifies and offends Chris. Meanwhile,
Nothing
Black
new there, I
Sonichu
suppose.
announces that he has
Nothing new
turned his
there.
back on Natesurk, and now he is on friendly terms with Chris's friends, and has also all of a sudden developed a romantic interest in Bubbles. Chris and Natesurk transform into their Sonichu forms and battle, until Chris Chan somehow ends up back in Manchester High School. Just as Natesurk is about to deal the final blow, a phantom basketball knocks him unconscious. Chris is woken up by Megan, who tells him that Natesurk fell into a coma after hitting his head on the bleachers and is currently in the hospital. Bionic the Hedgehog reveals himself as the one who wielded the
So
basketball
terrorism
at Natesurk's
would
head.
if I had the fucking
They
first
reminisce
place.
about old times and how Chris hasn't drawn Bionic since 2004. Chris laments that he is 25 years old, having never even had a date. The dialogue suddenly becomes a promo for his up-and-coming Yup, I'm on TV DVD, which would not be available for purchase. The scene cuts to 10 weeks later, when Natesurk awakens from his coma with a fiery urge to murder Bionic the Hedgehog. On February 24th, 2007, Christian celebrated his very special 25th birthday.
endangered here.
He held the joint birthday and DVD launch party at what appeared to be the game place.
Crashed kinda?
To mark the special occasion and to instill his wisdom unto others, he recorded his important message video, in which he reflects on all he has learned over the course of his life. He wished for it
That's
to
gotta
become
be
an
grand.
educational video shown in schools, but this goal has yet to be accomplished.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, girls and
Oh,
boys, and
Yeah,
dudes of all
that's totally gonna be
teenagers, as well as the
school.
gals. My name is Christian Chandler. I am here, and y'all are there. This message is for everyone of the present and the future beyond this date, February 24th, 2007. My birthday, my 25th birthday. I am high-functioning autistic, and in my 25 years, I have seen and learned so much. And today, I intended to share some wise words that I hope each and every one of you will take to
Be out of
heart
fucking fuel soon.
and allow for yourself and everyone else a
Pissing
better
off
brighter
anyone
future.
apparently
He
is a
encourages
very
his
good way of
audience
getting
not to take up
fucking
dirty
kills.
habits like drinking or smoking.
You should avoid at all costs smoking, drinking alcohol, and intaking similar icky, dangerous stuff. And smoking will eventually cause cancer, and you'll be more likely to get heart attacks, viruses, and your life will be cut drastically short. They
You
don't
don't
call
say.
cigarettes and cigars death sticks for nothing other than killing you slowly. If I could, I would take every last ounce of tobacco, put them on a rocket, and shoot them up to the moon.
He encourages boys to buy a My Little Pony figure to get
Ah,
accustomed to the female
so you're
form
helping
and
the-
pretend to
sorry,
treat it
Italy.
like
You're
the girl
helping
they
the
like.
Italy as well.
If you're a young gentleman, I recommend buying yourself a My Little Pony
Yes,
figure
you are.
of your favorite color or whatever.
Good.
Now, stroking
We
the
can rely
hair
on
of
someone
said
to help
pony
us.
is very relaxing and therapeutic, and also rubbing it against your
Same.
cheek. And also, you can pretend that the pony is that girl you want to take out to. You want to take out sometime, and talk to the pony like you would talk to the girl.
And he recommends that girls get Transformers.
Now, for the ladies, I recommend a good old Autobot from Transformers. Because you can get to learn how to examine the mechanics and variations of each and every, of the Autobot you have. Like
come on.
like you would learn
Fucking
how a man
Italianos. Come on,
and
man,
allow
spaghetti
you to
brothers,
feel
and
more
do something.
comfortable in approaching and talking to that boy you've been flirting from a distance, or just been flirting with from a distance. And hopefully,
I really would like to
all you
recapture
have to do
that.
is just end up and say hello. I
Oh,
mean,
well.
it's not so hard.
We
All
can
you have to do
do dialogue,
is say
basically,
hello
that
to the
line.
man, ladies. That's all. Then everything
They
will
were
just be
holding
going
on
from
in the
there.
mountains,
He
though.
encourages girls to be more open to having a relationship with less attractive males, and states the importance of staying with your first mate, neglecting that both of his parents were married before. He finally stresses the point that it is crucial that boys and girls stay straight.
Also, keep in mind that while you're playing with these things, you should keep in mind of what your true original gender is. Because it's like you're learning about that girl you want to take on a date, young man. Or likewise,
Italy.
you feel more comfortable to approach that boy by just saying hello that you've been checking out from a distance, young lady. And
Come
hopefully
on,
in due
Italy,
time
help
or now,
us.
each and
Help us
every one
more.
of you will stay straight. You know, girl for boy, boy for girl. Everything else is vice, as said by Dr. Kinsey. And besides, if you stray away from the straight path, it can really jeopardize the entire future of the world and the human race.
Okay, nobody
This
was
video would
surprised.
become the final addition to his DVD.
I am Christopher Christian Weston Chandler. Live long and shine on in your very own unique way. War is never the
Italy,
answer.
don't break here.
Peace is.
You could fight.
Never fight. Compliments will get you
We
fuzzy
should have a lot more
wuzzies.
troops available.
War gets you prickly wicklies, as well as punches that get you those too. Thank you very much, and have a wonderful day.
Actually, we don't have to fight the eastern side, though. Yeah,
In
that
March,
is a
Chris
catastrophe.
reignited communications via email with his half-brother, Cole Smithy, who had made a career for himself as a film critic. This renewed interest was most likely in order to acquire his address so he could send his DVD to his brother. I have talked to Mom, and I quote her when she said, "I do not regret giving life to Cole. We've had a bunch of good years up till the madness. And all things considered, I still love Cole very much like any other mother would for her son. She really does." Cole's response was brutally cold and honest. I grew up in an abusive household with Barbara and my former stepfather, Jerry, where physical and mental punishments ran the gambit, from bare-assed beatings to cold showers to bizarre scenarios, acted out with glee by two deeply neurotic adults. The treatment I received in Richmond, Virginia was another matter altogether. To raise a child in such conditions is inexcusable. Even at a very young age, I knew that they would abandon me. They were both irresponsible and incompetent parents who exposed me to traumas that I would rather not remember. He continued to elaborate on his feelings towards Bob. The crux of my problem with Barbara comes from two sources. The first is Bob's bitter influence on her, which worked to separate our relationship just as Bob did with his own children, with whom he has no association. In nearly 44 years of life, I've never met a meaner or more reprehensible Republican cur than Bob Chandler. I hope that you will email me when he dies so that I can celebrate. Our
Oh,
mutual
boy.
hatred has never been a secret, and it points out Barbara's proclivity to isolate herself via scurrilous mates. The second and more compelling issue that permanently ruined my relationship with Barbara is the litany of lies she tells anyone who will listen about the identity of my biological father and about her marriage history. He revealed that he employed a private investigator to track down his biological father, who was most likely a man named Rand Coleman Yates, to whom Barbara was married. Go ahead and send your DVD to my address listed below. You and I may be related, but our mother only loves you. As the months progressed, Chris and Megan's strained relationship carried on. She told him that she did not appreciate him depicting her original female characters with breasts, and once more ordered Christian to stop touching her.
Ooh,
In May,
he's never
Chris
gonna
created a YouTube
learn.
account called Sonichu and uploaded his first video, a fight on the game Soul Calibur of Chris versus Mary Lee Walsh. In June, Megan left for Kentucky, with Chris emailing her frequently, updating her with his activities at the game place and saying how much he missed her. He also mentioned attending an upcoming rummage sale in town, which ended up being reported on in the Daily Progress,
gets into it.
with Barbara and Christian receiving an honorary mention. Right behind Ross, Christian and Barbara Chandler were waiting to shop. Christian wanted toys and video games, while his mother wanted to look for fabric. In the meantime, Sony held the Chop Chop Master Onions Rap Showdown contest to promote the Parappa the Rapper video game, which
Correct.
required contestants to
Yeah,
submit
it's
a video
cool.
of themselves performing a song from the game. However, they were limited to only using their own voices, with the use of backing tracks resulting in an immediate disqualification. The winner would get 2 PSPs and an all-expense trip to Seattle's Penny Arcade Expo. Chris was convinced that if he were to win the competition, he could give one of the PSPs to Megan, then invite her along to Seattle so she could fall in love with him and finally take his virginity.
AP Station. My name is Christian Chandler. I live in Rockville, Virginia. I have a PSP. I like the rap. I play with the rapper. I go with you now. The only song I know is Master Onion, which I got from a demo I borrowed from my friend Megan.
Chris's video was far from polished, with rehearsal probably kept at a
Come
minimum.
on.
Kick, push, it's all in the mind. If you want to learn test me, I'm sure you'll find
Come
that
on,
you
do it, little
all
Swiss
think
boys.
that I teach you sure to beat ya.
We believe in you. We believe that you can
He
retake
inserts
it.
various seemingly random video effects, which were at his disposal via the camera he used to film the video, the PlayStation Eye.
Duck and turn, duck and turn.
Random is a very nice way of describing what that is.
Come on now, why don't you follow my word?
Very random.
Do rock on, yo. Na-na-na-na-na-na. Rap, rap, rap. That's a rap.
The following month, Christian found out that his entry made it into the top 10 and was now eligible to the public vote, ultimately due to the low number of total entries. He announced his elation online and urged everyone to vote for him on all his websites and social media. He also emailed several people asking for their vote. This included some unlikely candidates, such as his former guidance counselor from PVCC, Susan Hannafin, and his brother. After some deliberation, Cole agreed to vote for Chris, only after Chris asked their mother
Come on,
about
go
who
over there.
Cole's real father was.
Jesus
Chris
Christ.
promptly replied that he asked her and claimed that his father was Jack Dale Smithy, which Cole knew to be untrue. Understandably unsatisfied and upset, he continued to email Chris about how Barbara enveloped his life in lies, closing with an earnest wish to be informed of Bob's eventual passing. Chris intensified his campaign by handing out flyers at the game place, urging fellow visitors to vote. He even resorted to voting for his own video by making fake accounts, and gave himself a glowing review. From Quick Sonichu, Video Lucky 7. Such honesty of his situation and devotion for his lucky girlfriend adds great emotions to his performance. The visually appealing effects added the best humor and biggest laugh I had among the bunch. I enjoyed the fun background of his assumed-to-be bedroom, and his informative feedback on playing Guitar Hero on PlayStation 3 was truly a wise and great addition. Also, he has nailed the lyrics a cappella. As this brave autistic warrior so creatively put it at the end, rap, 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 that's a rap. Truly the cherry on the top of the sundae. A perfect score of 5 out of 5 stars for his marvelous effort, and smiling at knowing he looked a bit stupid. Voting was closed at the end of July. The polls are closed, and I am anxious to find out if I am number 1 of the Rappas or not. I really want that trip to Seattle so I can be with my sweet Megan longer than usual and have fun together. I love her so much. On August 3rd, it was announced that the winner of the Chop Chop Master Onions Rap Showdown was Adam Stackhouse.
Crack, crack, crack the egg into the bowl.
Crack, crack, crack the egg into the bowl.
M-I-X the flour into the bowl.
Chris immediately wrote a strongly capitalized email to Sony, demanding they reconsider. I really wanted that trip so I could have a chance to impress my sweetest Megan and possibly fulfill my dream of getting married and soon have a daughter named Crystal. Yet now I, a frustrated high-functionally autistic 25-year-old
need to
virgin,
always
have been
fucking point
balls
that
broken
out.
like I have through a big chunk of my life in America's favorite game, Kick the Autistic. Sigh. I had my fantasies of having fun with Megan, taking her to a really extravagant destination. I am not rich. Taking a long-wanted tour of the Nintendo of America Company Tour with her, playing Guitar Hero against the guy in the Parappa costume, jamming with Megan in the hotel room, and possibly our first time in bed. Sigh. Life can be so unfair and f***ing corrupt, but I digress. Take the a cappella rule to the max on those 3 out of 10 videos. Take care, Christian Weston Chandler. He argued that the winning entry used a backing track and had to be disqualified. However, since the backing music was actually sung in a cappella, the entry was deemed suitable. Chris seemingly ignored the rule that contestants could not rewrite the lyrics, which Chris obviously did, thusly disqualifying himself. He directed his anger towards Stackhouse in his blog post on the PlayStation Network's website. This is directed mostly to Adam Stackhouse, the SOB who was the alphabetically first video in the Parappa contest and got wrongfully the big prize. This jerk's video was against the no music rule. His, Surya Butchwald, and Aperluski's video all should have been disqualified because they all had music. He also let Megan know about his sorrow. I am angry, depressed, and lonesome, all simultaneously. I worked so damn hard. I sent like over 500 messages between MySpace, PlayStation Network, and AOL. And I even made up over 120 dummy email accounts to match with their dummy PlayStation accounts, so I could stuff the f***ing ballot. Sigh. I failed. So much effort. Rapping and dancing with goofy effects to be even considered. Spreading the word as far and wide as possible. Wasted. And I did it all for you, Megan. I had you in my heart as I chopped the onion a la mode dance. Megan finally let him have a piece of her mind. I just want to say that your behavior has irritated me for the last time. First, I'll start off with saying that I'm glad you didn't win the contest, because I have no interest in going on a trip alone with someone who can't keep his hands off me. I'm not your girlfriend, and I never will be. When I say don't touch me, that means don't touch me. What may seem friendly to you is sexual harassment to me, and I don't like your Megan obsession. I don't like being a character in your comics. I don't like how you made me a character in Soul Calibur and Animal Crossing. That kind of behavior really freaks me out.
Now,
To
when
release
the
his
exes.
rage, Christian filmed a video of himself shooting a dart-firing Megatron pistol at a dartboard with a photo of Adam Stackhouse's face on it.
And that is how angry I am at Adam Stackhouse, Aperluski, Hudel, and Surya Butchwald. They should have been disqualified because they had music and more than one person in their Freakazoid video.
As time went on, his attitude towards Megan changed little, announcing his displeasure at her fraternizing with her friend Christopher. The hugging was one thing, but when I heard the smack of your kiss on his cheek, it started a chain reaction in my head, from OMG to simultaneous infuriation and jealousy. I assure you that I would not do anything extreme to
Now
Christopher.
Germany moves right.
Originally, I was not fond of him
Yes.
because it was obvious that he was a homo. Yes, I am a homophobe. I fear them all, and I fear the tormenting temptations of falling off the straight path. But then I mentally, sometimes from a DVD, and if you'll pardon the expression, shove some pussy in my face. I tell you what, if I ever stoop down to changing my path, I might as well get a gender change operation. In late October, Daniel Mims, who frequented the game place, covertly snapped a couple of photos of Chris in mid-battle, and his buddy Lucas uploaded them onto the anonymous image board, 4chan. A user on the comedy website, Something Awful, who had seen Christian on the UVA campus, created a thread focused on Christian and his comics, unleashing the Christian myth onto the world. Members
And the
debated
world was
over the
so
veracity
grateful
of his
for that,
supposed
wasn't
actions, and those who have witnessed